Hello everyone, my name is Apurva Rajput. In this video, I will be discussing the topic capacity of parties. Further, I will be discussing meaning, persons incompetent to contract, minor, persons of unsound mind, persons disqualified by law. So, first and foremost thing to know about this concept is what do you mean by capacity of parties? Meaning, capacity of parties refers to each party who is entering a contract being required by law to have the mental and intellectual capacity to understand. According to section 11, every person is competent to contract who is of age of majority according to the law to which he is subject. Thus, section 11 declares the following persons to be incompetent. In simple words, capacity to contract means a party concerned must be competent to bind themselves by promises. Sometimes capacity is determined by whether or not they have reached the majority age and if they have mentally capable of understanding the contract terms. Persons incompetent to contract. We have minor, persons of unsound mind, persons disqualified by law. So first, who is minor? An infant or a minor is a person who is not a major. According to the Indian Majority Act 1875, a minor is one who has not completed his or her 18th year of age, which means any person who has not attained the age of majority is known as minor. A person attains majority on completing his or her 18th year in India. An agreement with a minor is void ab initio. When a guardian or of a minor person or property has been appointed by the court, he attains majority on completion of 21 years of age. Now let us understand nature of minor's agreement. Mandates that the agreement shall be competent to contract, be between parties competent to contract. Indicates that minor is incapable of entering into contract, but neither section provides as the effect of agreement entered into by minor. Also, if a minor enters into a contract, then he cannot ratify it even after he attains majority, since the contract is void as initio. So one by one, let us understand minor's agreements. An agreement with or by a minor is void ab initio. It is established rule in India that an agreement with a minor is void ab initio, namely, since its conception and inception it is a guilty. So here, void ab initio means to be treated as invalid from the outset, that is, not legally binding. Therefore, a document that is void is useless and worthless. So the next one is no estoppel against a minor. When minor represents his age and leads the other party to believe that he is major and such belief the party enters into contract with him, the minor is estopped from denying his majority, which means according to the section 115 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, estoppel means that if a person causes or permits another person to believe a thing to be true and to act upon such belief, then he will not be allowed to deny the truth. Next one, no restitution against minor. A minor is not liable to restore the property or goods received under the agreement even though he has misrepresented his age. In such cases, the minor can be asked to restore such property or money. For example, Mr. A minor represented his age and gets a Activa Honda on credit. On his failure to pay the installment, the scooter can be recovered from him if it is still in his possession, but there is no personal liability of the minor. Rectification on attaining majority is not allowed. A minor cannot rectify a promise entered into during his minority after attaining majority. A person can make a fresh promise after attaining majority in terms of the promise made during the minority. Here the term ratification means confirmation of some previous act. Ratification relates back to the date of making the contract, and therefore a contract which was the void cannot be made valid by subsequent ratification. Minor's liability for tort. The term tort means any wrong for which a civil suit can be brought. Minors are liable for negligence causing injury or damage to others' property, which means a minor is responsible for his/her own torts. However, the court will often apply a more lenient standard. Minor and joint agreement. The agreement made by a minor jointly with a major person are void, but such agreement can be enforced against the major who is the joint promisor. Position of persons of unsound mind. Section 12 of the Contract Act lays down that a person is said to be of sound mind for the purpose of making a contract if, at the time when he makes it, he is capable of understanding it and he is capable of forming a rational judgment as to its effect upon his interest. Here, no person can enter a contract where he is of unsound mind, even if he is temporarily. A contract made by a person of an unsound mind is void. Here, unsound mind includes lunatics, idiots, drunken persons. The first one, lunatics. Lunatic is a person whose mental faculties of thinking and decision making are disordered due to some mental stress or other person experience. Here, it is a kind of disease of brain. As such, his or her mental powers will not be completely lost. Idiots. An idiot is a person who is permanently of unsound mind. Such a person do not understand even ordinary matters of the daily routine. Therefore, a contract with the idiot is void. Drunken person. A person who is under influence of drinks or drugs is called drunkard. Here, at the time when he is drunk, he is incapable of forming a rational judgment. So here are the person disqualified by law. The following are not included from making any agreement. The first one, alien enemies. A person of foreign country which is enemy to another country cannot make a contract. Foreign sovereign and ambassadors. These persons enjoy a special privilege that can enter into contract and enforce those contracts in our courts. But under section 86 of the Civil Procedure Code (CPC), previous sanction of the central government must be obtained in order to sue them, where the foreign servant enters into a contract through their agents residing in India. Such agent is personally become liable for the performance of the contract. Next one, convicts. A convict person during the period of imprisonment cannot enter into contract. A convict can, however, enter into contract or sue on a contract if he is released or bail or under a ticket of leave. The next one is insolvent. All the assets and property of an insolvent is in the hands of an official receiver. So an insolvent cannot contract against his property. Next one, married woman. Married women can contract against their property. Married women are Hindu, Muslim, Christian and Korean ladies. If the husband of a married woman fails to provide necessary articles of living, then she can pledge the credit of her husband, for which he shall be liable for payment. A married woman may sue or be sued in her own name in respect her separate property. A joint stock company. A company has its artificial existence, but it can contract through its shareholders and directors under a common seal. Only the contract entered into by corporation through its agent will be valid if they are within powers conferred on it by the object clause of Memorandum of Association. Any contract beyond the powers conferred by the Memorandum of Association is void. So, from the above discussion, it can be concluded that the capacity to contract is legal competence to contract. A person declared as incompetent to contract is the one who is incapable of entering into contract, and a contract with such a person is unenforceable by law. Thank you.